Hi everybody, welcome to Haiku Talk. I'm your host, Ben Ga, your friendly neighborhood haiku poet, and today we're going to be taking a look at a piece from the current issue of Modern Haiku. For those keeping track at home, that would be the volume 56.1, the Winter-Spring 2025 edition. Today's piece comes from Sam Bateman with the first line of handpicking what? So, with that said, you know what time it is. It's time to sit back, grab yourself a tasty beverage, relax, and then let's haiku. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be with you again for another episode of Haiku Talk. This one is a very fun, very spring-summer related piece, I would say. But since it's spring, I think, and it's spring's getting into things, it involves a farmer's market, and those are starting to open up across all over the place now, which is pretty good. So let's take a look, dive right into this piece, and then we'll get right to it. The poem goes like this. Hand-picking what they picked by hand. Farmer's market. Hand-picking what they picked by hand. Farmer's market. This is just a great, fun piece, and it's light, but it's full of observations and full of life at the same time, and a wonderful piece. It does follow the fragment and phrase formatting, with the phrase being up front in lines 1 and 2, which is handpicking what they picked by hand, and the fragment being farmer's market. And I like how there's an M dash in the beginning of that, again, to kind of separate what the fragment and the phrase and actually put a little pause before you actually get to farmer's market. It's a little bit of a unique technique. We don't see that too often, but I like it. Another thing about this poem, it uses a format that I playfully like to call playing catch. And what I mean by that is in the phrase you have handpicking, which is like you're throwing the ball to somebody, what they picked by hand. And so it's like handpicking and picked by hand. It's like you toss the ball forward with handpicking and it returns back to you with, again, handpicking in a sense. And so it's like that phrase plays catch with itself by throwing the ball back and forth, or throwing the noun, throwing the action back and forth to each other. It's a very playful type of technique. I've used it a couple times myself, and it always delights me when I see others using it. And it's a good kind of thing to keep in your toolbox as a technique to try out. If your poem fits in this, if your moment or poem fits into this type of thing where you can use it. And so that's, again, another reason why I was delighted to pick it this time around. Pick it with all the picking of things. Let's break this down line by line and show how it works. So that first line is hand-picking what? Hand-picking what? Now, when you look at that as a line and how it ends with what, that should be your clue that that when you're reading it, you read the first line wrapping into the second line together. You don't really pause after what. So you wouldn't read hand picking what they picked by hand, as if you're reading each line individually. Hand picking what is in mid-sentence, it's in mid-phrase, so it automatically wraps you down to read one and the following line together as one phrase. So you're handpicking what they picked by hand. And that, again, is another kind of technique for line breaks that you can incorporate into your piece, so that if you have like one big line, like if your phrase, that phrase, sometimes it's where do you break that phrase between the first line and the second line, or how do you make it two lines? And so by hand picking what, like hand picking is is the essential piece of where where the action of the phrase starts. That's what's being done. You're hand picking, and hand picking what is a nice place to end that, because what follows in line 2 tells you what you're hand picking, and so it's a nice, very functional, very very guided way of you break the line so that you have the action, and then in this case hand picking, and then you tell immediately what you're picking by hand. Because if you broke it like hand picking what they and stopped there, and then had the second line being picked by hand, it just it doesn't. Hand picking what they is that extra line, word they on line 1 would have made it feel really unbalanced, and it doesn't naturally lead you as strongly to line 2. Whereas breaking it right in the middle, handpicking what, so handpicking, you can almost look at it as a handpicking what question mark, and what are they picking, or what's being picked? They picked by hand. So handpicking what they picked by hand, and I really like that choice of line break. So line 2 is they picked by hand. They picked by hand. And then you have, like I said, that playing catch back and forth between line 1 and line 2, where it's all a play on hand picking. And so then we're wanting to know, what am I hand picking that somebody else picked by hand? And you go to line 3 with the nice farmer's market. Farmer's market. And that gives you everything you need to know now. The whole poem, the whole moment snaps into place, and now you know what you're doing. You know what all the hand picking makes sense, and it ends you in the marketplace. It starts you with the action, but it ends you. So if you're thinking like from a camera lens, we're starting very focused on a hand going to pick something that was picked by hand, and you don't really know what that is. That action going in to pick something. But at the last line pulls back and reveals the whole farmer's market. And now everything that's going on makes sense. And then you're left with all of the sights and the sounds and the transactions and everything going on within the farmer's market. So it's like you're there, you're buying your thing, you're picking your thing, and then the poet leaves you in the farmer's market to go to the next stand, to go to the next whatever you're going to do next. And that's, again, another really nice technique of starting small in the action, like if you think about like a camera, like in a movie camera, and then how that action pulls wider out, and it leaves you in a wide shot of being in this farmer's market. And again, that to me is just a really delightful piece. A lot of little things going on there. The line break between line 1 and line 2, the playing catch between hand picking and picked by hand, and then the pull back of the camera lens to reveal the wide shot of the farmer's market. And it's just a beautiful, delightful piece. Farmers markets are really great. I don't know how widely they are used around the world. I'm sure folks might be, like, depending on where you are in the world, you may or may not know what a farmer's market is, but it's pretty much like the name implies. It's a small space where local farmers, in this case, it's usually in the United States, it's kind of craft farmers, organic farmers, very small farmers, can come and sell their stuff to the community that they live in. And you can buy a lot of different types of things at the farmer's market. Primarily, it's things like produce and honey and locally sourced meats, and vegetables, and all sorts of other little crafts and soaps and things like that. But again, like the hand picking of this kind of underscores the fact that it's not like industrial farming. It's not industrial made goods. These are handmade, hand picked, hand grown pieces from small farmers that bring them to the stage. So that's, again, another nice use of the word hand picking and picking by hand, which ties into what a farmer's market is and helps flesh out that whole feel and vibe of what it's like to be at one of these things. So a very well constructed poem, very good word choice here, and just a very, everything just snaps together and is, it just flows so naturally that when you that you don't really necessarily realize all the techniques that are happening at once to make this moment happen. But when you do take a pause and take a look at this, not just as a reader, but as a writer, and you start to look at all the little techniques that have been used here to make this moment come alive, it's pretty impressive. There's a lot happening here in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words in an M dash. So very well done, Sam Bateman. Thank you for a wonderful haiku. Thank you, Modern Haiku, for another excellent issue. I can't wait for the point 2 to come out for this year. And thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Haiku Talk. I do want to say that this channel is small, and it's not necessarily intended to be a giant channel with lots of people coming to it, because the focus of this is on small poems and people interested in this small form. But the channel did cross over to have over 500 subscribers just recently. And I really want to thank every one of you that clicked to subscribe on the channel, because it does, well, it's nice to know that people are tuning in and want to see everything that I'm putting out on this channel. It's really cool. And I'm very moved and very thankful for your support and just to tune in. It also does help with the algorithms, and it does help this show up in weird places and so on and so forth. But it's just, humbling to know that there's over 500 of you that tune in regularly to the channel. And I greatly appreciate that. Cheers to you, cheers to you, cheers to you. So until next time, hope all is well. And yeah, that's it.